this particular business that I'm in, dealing with logistics, I had a vehicle go down. And that's kind of like the worst case scenario. The good thing was everything was delivered off of the vehicle. But when you have one of your, cargo vans or a truck or whatever break down, it could be detrimental to your business. And this vehicle broke down on the corner of Roswell Road and Abernathy. So I'm at the light at Roswell Road, Abernathy when this vehicle breaks down. And directly across the street is the Publix, obviously. And while I'm at this red light and, cars are coming, there was an officer, a female officer, who typically does the security detail at the school down the street. I don't know the name of the school, but there's a school like right down the street that she's typically outside standing there. So the officer was like, hey, I'm going to stand behind you and make sure that, the tow truck and everything comes and that nobody hits you, which I appreciate. Any officer that does their duty and tries to protect and serve as they should. So the company that came through was A-Town Towing. And they do have a website. It's ATOWINC.com. Their phone number, 404-577-8950. And although I'm giving their information out, I am not giving this information out as an endorsement of how good they are. They actually were quite horrible. A-Town Towing was very whack and horrible in how they handled the situation. My driver's name was Oliver. And to my understanding, I believe the drivers get paid some type of commission deal or something. But nonetheless, it's neither here nor there. Oliver was the driver from A-Town Towing that came to my aid to assist me in a time of need. And they talk about professional service with integrity on the site, but this company was far from professional and did not show very much integrity. In fact, if you look up their reviews, I saw review after review, negative comment after negative comment, especially about the young lady in the office that they said had one of the worst attitudes. Thank God I didn't have to speak directly to her. I did email the company and they did not respond to my email, nor did they even reach back out. But A-Town Towing, as I stated, Metro Atlanta. I'm going to also state where they're located in Atlanta. Let me go ahead and check the website in case you guys want to write or call in or speak to them about how horrible their service is. But nonetheless, let me get into it. So Oliver rose up and I had replaced the battery in my delivery vehicle because I was told that the alternator was good. It was the battery. But upon my surprise, the next day, the battery got killed towards the end of the route. And I realized then, okay, it's the alternator. So when A-Town Towing rose on the scene, I had been sitting for probably about an hour. And the gentleman tells me, he says, hey, I said, hey, how you doing? I said, yeah, I'm obviously broke down. How much would it be for you to tow me? And, from here, mind you, it's 20 steps from that red light to the Publix parking lot over there. I said, how much would you charge me to just run me over there? Because initially I asked him about the fee and he said just to go across the street was $85. I said, well, to literally take me from here to there is $85. He said, yeah. I said, well, how much do you charge for a jump? Because usually towing companies will take the jump box and give you a courtesy jump, hook the cables up, whatever. And he says, if you want to go that way, if you get a jump, it's going to be $65. I said, so it's $20 less than taking me over there to get the jump. And the guy's like, yeah. I said, well, if I'm going to pay you $85 to take me not even 20 steps across the street, just to hook me up, take me over there, I was like, I might as well go ahead and get you to run me all the way, to my home base. So what is it looking like if you take me over here? And he said, oh, you don't want to do that because then it's going to be all that plus $3 per mile. And I kind of like cringed a little bit because as a business owner and in business, rather than being negative or rather than telling the customer, oh, you don't want to do that, like you wanted the customer, it seems like it would have been more acceptable or more professional to say, well, sir, we have a base rate of $3 per mile in addition to that 85, and it will probably cost you more. It's not as economical for me to just drive you over there. That could have probably would have been a better approach, especially when due to COVID, you can't ride with the tow truck drivers. So literally you're just taking my vehicle and charging me this money and running down the road. And I'm still waiting for my lovely wife, Micah, to come pick me up because I had to call her to meet me there. So nonetheless, I went ahead and allowed Oliver because when I told him that I would look into other options, He then went to the black female officer that I mentioned earlier and whispered to her. And she comes and they both just literally shake me down on the side of the road. She's like, hey, look, either you roll with him and pay him and let him get you, or I'm going to call an impound and get you impounded, and it's going to cost you even more money. And this was a Sandy Springs police officer, mind you. I didn't get a name or a badge number because, I know it's hard enough for cops these days, but that was kind of foul of her to just kind of jump ship from 0 to 100. And all I was asking was, hey, could we get a jump first? Do I really have to pay $65 just for you to try to jump my battery up to see if I can run over there across the road? And when I made mention, and man, I almost would rather get out and push the van myself. She was like, well, I can't drive it. And how you going to push it and drive it? And we need to do something. We've been out here for an hour. So it was a very negative experience. But I wanted to share with you guys about that. In A-Town Towing, I did tell them I would do a review and tell people how garbage their service was. So I'm true to my word. I applaud companies to do a great job. I interview CEOs and businesses to do a great job. And if somebody from A-Town Towing would like to come on the show, I'm more than willing to discuss. I mentioned that in my email to them that I would like to discuss some of their practices, because when I looked over their reviews, I've heard of some abuses and things that they've done. It was one lady on there that said her family was on a vacation and their vehicle had got towed by A-Town Towing. And when they were towed, because it was a rental car, they went and took their rental agreement to A-Town's lot to pick up their vehicle because their vacation was coming to an end here in Atlanta. And they said A-Town refused to release the vehicle despite them having a lease agreement to rent the car. They were saying, you're not the owner. We need to get it from, say, Hertz or whatever the rental company was. They have to be the one. And this person said it inconvenienced them and their family to where they had to do an extra week stay in Atlanta going back and forth with this company. And they charged them a storage fee per day, even though they were at fault, that a person did have the right to pick the vehicle up by like Hertz or Alamo or the rental company. So when you have like companies like that to do scummy things like that, I believe they need to be reported. I believe they need to be exposed. And hopefully those who are watching will be able to express their dissatisfaction with A-Town Towing. If you have a bad story or a bad experience with A-Town Towing, I would love for you to tell me in the comment section, and maybe we can revisit this story if they're willing to come on and do an interview. I plan to call the office and discuss further in detail, and I will be showing them this episode so that they will know that, yes, the word is out about A-Town Towing and the horrible job they did. For me, Micah Dobbins from the Micah Dobbins Show.